Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate investing and the random stuff that makes life interesting. I'm John Whitfield, joined by my co-host Carlos Zamora from Carrot and Investor Fuse, and BP, their mobile home park operator, and Ted Sysops. How's it going, gents?
Great, hot summer in Florida, baby.
It is freaking hot.
That's
Very
why
hot.
stay inside.
AI features live inside of Carrot CRM and Investor
I got
Fuse.
the email. I got the email from Trevor.
Oh, I'm glad they sent an email. Good.
Trevor wanted to let me know that the new AI features are better than any other CRM out there. They're there for Carrot CRM and its twin sister Investor Fuse 3.0.
That's right.
I thought that was weird how they're like twin. I was like,
Did
I
they
think he
really
called it
say
twin.
twin sister? I haven't
I'm
seen
almost.
Did it say
I'm
that
like.
in the email?
I'm 99% positive it said twin sister. So you
That's
should
fine.
check that out. It was like parenthesis twin sister Investor Fuse 3.0.
There is a webinar. Actually, by the time this comes out, the webinar will have happened. So the webinar is on Thursday.
Yeah, I was telling Carlos yesterday on our pre-show. I was like, I sent you guys this Instagram post about, AI. After we had our AI conversation, one of my biggest faults in like my business as a mobile home park operator is like we handle a lot of calls inbound, and it's really tough to take all of those calls. And I'm not saying I get thousands of calls, but people tend to call around the same time. They just do. It's like lunchtime or in the morning, and I'm only one person, and it's tough to pick up the call for everybody. And then they don't leave messages, and then they complain, and they're like, "Oh, I've called you guys and no one answers." And so my common response, and their eyes always go like this, is like, "Well, did you leave a message?" I was like, "I'm not going to know that you called if you didn't leave a message, but everyone who leaves a message gets a call back." And it's like they're dumbfounded because obviously in like 2000 in the 90s and early 2000s you had to leave messages, like there was no like missed call.
Yeah.
And nowadays people don't do that. They just assume like you're
I'm
going
gonna
to
call you
call
and
them
call back.
back. And I'm like, I'm a business, bro. Like I don't track missed calls like it's my personal phone call. We get a lot of spam too. Anyway, one of the biggest faults is being able to handle that type of, the call volume. And I was thinking, and I saw this guy's post about like the AI, and we've talked about AI phone sales. And I'm like, man, like if I could have something that good where it's like they could pick up the phone, take messages, you know what I mean? And it sounds, you don't want it to sound robotic. And some of the ones we've heard are pretty legit, but they're all kind of
Very
like
legit.
sales oriented and stuff. And it's like that's pretty cool. Like I could definitely use something like that. And then the video specifically that I sent was related to calling private money lenders. Like, hey, Brandon told me that you were interested, to give you a call and maybe talk about mobile home parks with you. And maybe that's something you would want to invest in or whatever, maybe we could set up a call. And I was like, man, like that would be cool too. And I was like, maybe there's like a software out there where there's like a 2-in-1 where like I could get customer service but also like have it work on like calling like a list of private money lenders with a script that I set up. But here's the problem. And I was telling Carlos, I was like, I started going down the rabbit hole once I saw that video. And now I'm in the algorithm. And there are so many options. Everyone seems to be doing AI voice, but it's like, which ones are legit? Which ones aren't going to go under? You know what I mean? Which ones are actually good? Which ones are improving their software? And it's like, then that means you got to set up demos and you got to do like all these different things. And I was like, man, we should really try to find somebody who could make some recommendations. So anybody listening, if you have recommendations, or maybe we can get a guest on who could talk specifically about what one to just get instead of saying there's 15 different options. Because according to Instagram and TikTok right now, there's about like 20 some different softwares, all with different names that I should look into about getting AI voice for my business. But you see where I'm going with this is there's now too many options for AI features. And here I am. I just need like these one or two things. And I don't need all the frills with it. And like, how much is that? Like, because I was telling Carlos, I was like, where I was going, like as I was closing this last park and where I was really thinking was doing a call center. Like I had my call center before for sales and cold calling. I was like, well, it wouldn't be really hard to like retrain or even try to go hire one of my old cold callers and say, hey, you're customer service, or hey, you're going to call private money lenders. But with that, right? Software to go with that, the training to go with that, the scheduling of the people, the hiring of the people. It's a lot of work. And now AI's come along. So it would make more sense for me, I hate to say it, to hire an AI bot versus that's 24/7 versus a scheduled, 8-hour shift. And I'd probably have to hire 2 or 3 of them to kind of make sure they're available between all hours of the day. Because people call it, like, 8 p.m. at night or whatever. So that's kind of something where I'm at right now with all these AI things, of how overwhelming it could be to pick the right one, and then what it
Don't let
takes to even
yourself.
do that.
In that same conversation, John, just for context for you, I did tell BP it's not just the algorithm. There are that many AI
Oh yeah.
companies being launched. The other part of that, of getting somebody on who could tell you what the best tool is, I think part of not the problem, but just the setting or the situation, is that there are so many new companies coming out. The pace of better companies, like we see it with all the companies now, even with Google's marketing right now with the campaign. They even rolled out a new one this weekend where it's a lady in the driveway or some type of room where she's like, how can I fix this, Google? And they're marketing all the Google Gemini search. They're essentially going after now the demographic that's starting to use ChatGPT, probably like us, that instead of Google search, we use ChatGPT for everything.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So the answer, I think, for right now, which is a good thing because it's improving AI, but it's going to be ever evolving. Like right now for wholesalers, I'm sure Pace Morby is going to get a bunch of people on prop.ai just because he has that presence and that following. But who knows, in August, September, it's probably going to be something else. There's probably not going to be the pauses in the AI conversation soon.
But I don't even need it as crazy as that, Carlos. Like, that's sales. Like, customer service, I don't think needs to
Build
be.
it yourself.
Yeah. Let me build it myself along with the software I'm working on for transactions, along with the 5 or 4 mobile
Here's
home
the
parks
thing.
that I
Here's the
run,
thing.
along with the
So-
truck that I'm rehabbing. Like, let me just add one more thing in, John.
Well, luckily, you know a guy who knows AI pretty well. Here's the thing. So I've been connected with several outbound calling softwares for real estate investors to test AI voice for automated follow-up. Okay. And one of them was presented to me as being very far along in the process and doing really well and has a good solution. And so we start the process of integrating. And what is it that they send me for the integration?
No.
An N8N webhook.
What is that?
There are so many products out there that are being built on N8N and being
What is that?
sold. N8N is like Zapier workflows for AI functionalities.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are so many companies out there that are being built and being sold as like, I have built an AI solution to solve every problem that you need or whatever, to do this specific thing. And all they did was build an N8N workflow. And
what, ChatGPT or something? Like they web?
yeah, like it does a bunch, like it can do things like Zapier does. Like it connects to different services and it, you build if then statements and it kind of goes through this process and like you end up getting an end result. Right. And so it's crazy to me because like these things are going to be stuck to like what N8N can do. And N8N is not expensive. Other people should, like, you can go in it and you can really start to customize it. I do think like we're in a place where people are packaging up solutions that, they're just fabricating from other solutions out there.
Only furthers what I'm saying is the trust in the work that I would.
I know that's why I'm saying what I'm saying is you should be using like an AI consultant to be like, okay, let's find the right thing and do the right thing. Now, outbound calling, I think, is a different matter because outbound calling is a lot more intensive on the phone solution and how do you schedule the calls and how do you do the campaign.
Inbound's probably not as crazy, right?
Inbound is easy. It's just a Twilio account and an N8N subscription. Boom, done.
Yeah, but I still need the trained voice that sounds legit that I could give the script to that does what it needs to do.
No, you build it out inside of an N8N. If you want to investigate that, I will investigate it with you, BP, because I'm curious too about the N8N workflows. So if you have a desired outcome we can work on it, and then we can test it
I
and
have
see
no
what it is possible.
time, bro.
Just give me a script. I'll see what I can do.
You have no fucking
That's
time.
true. I don't have any time, but this is the day and age where you.
But going back to what you said though a second ago to stop you is the AI consultant. That's legitimately where I think a huge business, like maybe not a large, I'm running this large business, but like a self-employed hustle, like you want to be rich, but you don't want to have like 500 employees, like you just want to be excel. Like I think that like guiding people on that, I think is something.
That is what I would like to do.
You know, I think that would be. It's not just that too. It's like it's even the video making, the ad stuff with AI. Like I think about like, man, I could make ads for capital raising with like an avatar of myself, and like with my scripts that I would use, it saves me from having to be on camera. I could put like I'm in a AI, like I'm watching all these videos and I'm like again overwhelmed. I'm like, man, that's a great idea. I would love to put money towards that. But where do I begin? I don't have the time to do it. And it's like, again, somebody coming in and saying, okay, well, here's what you do, and here's how you do it, and here's what you need, and boom, and you set somebody up, and then they do it. I think it's a huge thing. It's kind of like back in the day, or even now, like somebody needs a YouTube studio set up and they don't know what equipment to buy. You go to somebody, or someone sells a course on how to do it. Like these types of things are going to become how to use AI, because there's way too many options out there, and to cut through the shit of what's good for me may not be good for John, but then trying to find what's good for me, which is different. Like John could say this or this, but now I need inbound and then I need outbound. Well, is there one that blends the two? Should I just get two separate ones? You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I could see the consulting being a huge wave for AI, which could also lead to a lot of bad actors in that too.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always possible.
As always, right? Bad actors in everything.
Make sure you pick an experienced person who has 10 plus years in product and business consulting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but again, AI is not even, so you got to find someone who dedicates their life to AI too. It's like, because there's a lot of people who talk about AI, but it's so young, like the industry of AI, like to truly
Oh
be in
yeah.
it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's super young.
But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with the AI thing, is like I use it on the basic level, but I think there's more on the audio and visual side of things that I could use that could make my life simpler, but it does become overwhelming.
I told BP even in our pre-show, we could do a weekly, at the pace that stuff is coming out, like a segment of our show could literally just be like new AI developments, just cruising the internet of what's new out there.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy. It is expanding at a much faster rate. Like these AI, like at least the videos that I see, like it's like they're now making. I mean, they're quick too. They've already made these AI videos on the Iran bombings and stuff, and it's like the internet wastes literally no time. Like no time. It was like a news. It was like the news station, and it's called like AI News, so it's not real. But like the videos were legit, and they were talking about how Iran goes, everyone's gonna feel it. And then it was like a bunch of American rednecks, like just gearing their trucks up, like ready to fucking go. Like, and it was, they were interviewing them, and I was like, this is good. Like, this is legit video. Like, you look at it, and yeah, you could tell it's kind of AI, but they pieced it together in what? One day? Maybe 2 days? I don't know. Saturday. So then I started seeing them maybe Monday morning. So like a day and a half, they made this entire video with no actors, no set. And it took place in all these different environments, right? Like to do that back in the day would have taken forever. Like the quality of it would have not been good. You wouldn't have had the diversity that AI could give you either.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the internet wastes no time, bro.
I'll shoot through a link in Slack, John, of what I sent to BP, like 10, 11 different updates in the last week. Give me a second here. It's like overwhelming. I feel like it's a full-time job of just staying on top of everything, that's not only staying on top, but then actually like going into utilize. I'm going to put it through in the.
Was it the link you sent me, or was it something else where it went through and it talked about how they did a study? I forget what institution did the study, but AI users show lower brain activity.
That was a
Like,
different one I sent
is
you,
that a
but
different one?
I feel like we've talked about that a little bit too,
Yeah,
of where
Shannon
people's
sent me that yesterday.
yeah,
yeah. I found that
yeah,
interesting.
which I
I
believe
mean,
it.
I believe it. I believe it too. I mean, you have
Apple's
this.
trying to buy Perplexity. I'm using Perplexity for my property research stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, Apple's definitely behind the game. Apple really has fallen off after Steve Jobs. It's like they led the charge with Siri. They could have definitely taken over the AI game had they have been in advance. A lot of stuff, but yeah. But the other thing, there's a lot of stuff that AI can't help you with. I mean, there's still a lot you got to do. I was also telling, aside from the AI stuff, it's like I was telling Carlos. So I had at the park, I wanted to talk about it because I felt like it was a pretty important thing. So we had to connect to water. So like, there's stuff that AI can't replace, right? And a lot of it is like the physical work aspects of things and the relationship building. And it was like we had connected to the city, and so we had to tie into the main city line because they made us get off our well, and we had gotten so much rain that I guess the weight of the mud, like the clay in Georgia, had disconnected one of the elbows on our pipe, and so the entire park went without water. And so once the water goes out, so it was like Sunday night, couldn't get anybody out there. The city came out in emergency to shut the main off. I had it was like a river flowing through the park because the main just
God.
busted.
So is
But
the main not your responsibility?
no, the main, my main, like I'm
Okay.
tapped in, and then it comes out of the backflow preventer and then goes into the park. But the thing is it's dug 3.5 feet into the ground. So
Good God.
there's this giant
Hmm.
concrete pit, mud, concrete, whatever, with a giant concrete lid that has all of the inner workings on it. And then I come out of that. And right out of there is where it busted. But the problem is then the water backflowed all into the pit too. Because, and then it's just bursting everywhere. So like I had, and that's kind of like, what do you do? Like, you're responsible for like 30 some families or 20 families or whatever it is. Like, so what is that, like 60, 70 people you got up in this community? And it's like they all need to shower, they need to eat, they need to do these things. And it's like at that point, everybody is panicking. How do they cook food for their kids? How do they use the toilet? How do they do all of these things? And it's Sunday night at like 8 o'clock. And so my phone starts blowing up, which is when AI would have come in real handy. Could have definitely had them taking some of the angry messages instead of me getting berated. I mean, people are literally acting like I shut the fucking water off on them. Like, I went down there and just took a sledgehammer to the pipe and was just like, you make us pay rent, and then you leave us with no water. You fine us if we're late on rent, but are we getting credits back to our rent now that we're without water? I'm like, what? Is this even like, what type of logic, like twisted logic, are you effing using? And I'm like, we're fixing it. Don't complain that you have to fix it. It's your responsibility. I'm like, I never said it wasn't my responsibility. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, what would you do in that situation?
What would I do
Yeah.
for the residents?
Yeah. How would you handle it?
Glad I'm not in that position to take that question.
I mean, I think that would all depend upon what I hear from the city on how long it would take to fix.
So the city said it's my problem, not theirs.
Oh, you have to get a plumber out there to fix it. So then what does a plumber say?
Plumber says, well, you have different kinds of plumbers, right? One plumber goes out and says, it's too deep, I'm not doing it. You need a backhoe to dig this up.
Shit. What's another plumber say?
Another plumber says the same thing. You need a backhoe to dig it up. It's too deep. The clay is too wet. Like, you'll never get down to it. The water keeps, like, you know what I mean? The water has filled this whole thing in. You need a pump to drain the water. Moral of the story is, like, you have people without water and you have to fix this thing, right? And so now it's Monday and they've went all night and now they're going to work. So like, I got one guy out there, needs the excavator. So I call my excavator guy. You got to understand, like, this is an emergency. And like, so it really comes down to your relationships of what you could do. And so I'm calling in favors. Like, I'm calling people I paid a lot of money to, people who like me, and, you know, we shoot the shit and all that. And they all want to help. One guy's like, dude, I'm on a job up in such and such in like North Georgia. Like, yeah, I could be down there tomorrow with my excavator. I'm like, tomorrow? Like, that's another day. Like, that's a whole 24 hours on top of last night without water just to dig. You know what I mean? So I had a well operator, John, who's like, he saved my butt when I bought the park. He's just a good old boy. You know what I mean? Like, he's a solid dude. And like, he was over in Albany. He was like 30 minutes away or whatever. And he was working on other stuff. And I was just, and he just has a heart of gold. And I was like, bro, like, here's my situation. And so he's like, I got an excavator. Here's the thing, man. Like, let me see if I could call a guy that, you know, that helps me with stuff. And if he can help me, I'll go load up my excavator. I bought a mini excavator. I'll go load it up and I'll drive over to your park and see what I could do. So like now I'm waiting. Now it's like 11 o'clock. And like everyone's
AM?
blowing, yeah, 11 a.m. Everyone's blowing me up, and I'm waiting to see if this guy is the guy. Meantime, I call one of my handymen. And I'm like, at least I know a plumber will do the work. Like my first plumber would do the work if I dug a hole. So I call my handyman, and he's out of town. He's like, but one of my guys is on site fixing up one of your mobiles. Here's his phone number. Call him. This motherfucker's ready with a shovel. He's going to go manually dig this 3.5 foot peak, but it needs to be like 6 foot wide, because you need, when you're dealing with pipes, you don't just dig a hole. You have to dig around this massive thing, because you have to maneuver the pipe. We don't know what the problem is at that point, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
You
but either
need the
way,
space. Yeah.
so this guy's ready to go fucking dig this hole. Phone's blowing up. People are angry. John finally calls back. He's like, I'm heading your way. I'll be there in about an hour, hour and a half. We're going to load up my excavator. I'm going to come and do it. Meantime, I need to get water to people. So I have my handyman on deck. He's going to come back into town. I'm going to send him to go buy water, because like they need to flush toilets. So like that's where I'm at now, problem solving, is flushing toilets. How do you like, can they, so I'm thinking like I'm just going to send him to like Walmart and buy like every fucking gallon jug that they have off the shelf and start dropping them on people's doorsteps. You know what I mean? Like that's my mode. So I call my ex-manager, because she's kind of like my liaison, and I'm updating her. And I'm like, listen, like, I don't know what you're thinking, but like, I think I need to get water to people. And she was like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. My husband, or I forget how she said it. Moral of the story is, I forgot that I worked at a truck wash. And I said, oh yeah.
They have a big.
She's like,
They have a big water container.
yeah. And she's like, I get water for free. And I'm like, oh, because I was thinking like I was gonna get like just buy a bunch of water. She's like, you don't need to do that, dear. Like I'm just gonna have my husband come down. Give me 30 minutes. We'll have and we're not talking like a tank. Do you know those big clear white tanks with the metal cage around them, like a ICB tank? Yeah. So she gets one of those, loads it up on her husband's truck or whatever, and they bring it to the park. So now I'm texting people, and I tell her to spread the word, right, for people I don't have numbers to or whatever, or who don't respond. So now we at least have water in the park. And
How do
so
you
now
get the water out of that container to people's houses, though?
no, so people are going to have to come with jugs to fill up
Okay.
waters. Basically, our goal is not for you to, like, yeah, you're not taking showers at this point, but you can at least use your toilet, and you can at least boil water. Like, I am doing the best I can at this point, but people are still pissed, dude. How are you charging us rent when we have no water? This is a health violation. I had to go to so-and-so's house to shower, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and in my mind, like, and I come from a different background, but in my mind, I would have never called my landlord. Once he told me that
He's taking care of the problem, and you
I would
see
have,
things happening. If
yeah,
I didn't
I would,
see anything happening, I would
different.
yes.
But maybe it's just me, but like I'm self-sufficient. I would have went and bought my own like jugs of water for my family. Like it's Sunday night, I would have been like at the store buying jugs. And it's maybe because we're from the hurricane capital. Like we know what to do when we have no water. We fend for our fucking selves, right? Like I'm in with a jug with holes in it, popping, you know what I mean? Like soaping and like I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But like they're so reliant on the landlord, and that's fine. Like that's my job, that now they're pissed because they can't take care of themselves. And like, so now they're upset that they have to go to her house to go get water to bring it back themselves. And when is this going to be done? So I called John. Now I'm back into fixing mode. John's like, we're digging it. Like, I'm hoping to have it back on by the end of the day. 4 o'clock comes around. This motherfucker turns the water back on. And I'm like, yeah, we got it. We fucking did it.
He did the plumbing as well? Okay.
So yeah, he dug it and did the plumber. Oh, he did the plumbing, right? It's what he does. He's a well operator, so he works on like
Okay.
well
Oh,
systems.
yeah,
So
okay,
he's
that's
not a
right, that's right.
plumber, but he can work on like commercial applications, and he's doing me a solid. So at this point, got it back on, fucking bust again.
What?
But the
Damn.
parts store is now closed because it's at this point, time is fast forward. It's after hours. The plumbing supply store he needs to go to get what he needs. So they're going another night without water. And I'm like, mother.
What part
effing
busted
shit.
again?
It's the same part or whatever. And then another part of the story is once they turned it on, there was another part down the line from the backfilled pressure that basically busted another part that they needed parts for. So like now I had this issue, and he was able to kind of stop this one, like the elbow down here at the street, but down towards the park, another one busted. So now they're going like another day without water. And he's like, I'll be out at 9 a.m. the next day. So I have to, and this was after I texted everybody, like, we got water, you should be good, like, da 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 da, thank you for your patience. And then I had to retext people, I spoke too soon, part stores closed, and like now I'm getting like another inflow. And it's not everybody, I will say that, right? It is the select few repeat offenders. And
Right.
you know what I'm talking about, right? Like there's a certain type of person that does it. It's the Karens. So like the next day he comes out, fixes the one. And the reason why it repiped is because reburst is he put the dirt back on it. And then the pressure, because it's all this wet clay, again, they had gotten so much rain, this has become an issue. So anyway, next day, spends all day fixing the other part. Turns it back on. What do you think happened?
Busted again.
Busted again.
Sheesh.
Anyway, by the end of the next day, he finally got everything working. But now the problem is because mud had filled the line, like no one had any pressure. So he had to open up all of my pressure to shoot down to try to shoot through because there was rocks or whatever it was. The old manager said the water was brown and it's just like trickling out. By the next morning, that problem is solved. The pressure had broke everything up. It flowed through all the faucets. Like we're good to go. But like now I'm leaving all the holes wide open. I have all these holes because I'm afraid to put the dirt back on. So I have to order sand and fill it in with sand because of how much rain this part of Georgia's been getting. And like the weight, because it kind of washed out the dirt underneath it. You know what I mean? So he was solving it by putting some concrete down too, to kind of like provide stability to the elbow. So that way, if it happened again, but he still advised I don't put like the clay back on, that I come in and he goes, don't dump it back on. He's like, have somebody hand shovel it. Like, don't just bring somebody out and just push it all back in or you'll bust the pipe again. And I'm leaving on a cruise and I won't be around. I'm like, oh. But dude, like it was just
is on a boat.
Yeah. But like, and there's more details in that story, but like that's just kind of like the synopsis of like they went from Sunday at 8 p.m. to Tuesday around 5 p.m. without water. And thankfully we had that. But that's kind of like, and I was thinking of what I would do. And if it wasn't for the old manager having access to free water, I mean, the only thing I was prepared to do that I could think of solving in this instance was dropping off gallon jugs and having my handyman do that like each day, and just like everyone's getting like 5 gallons of water or something, you know what I mean? Like I would obviously use ChatGPT and figure out how much water I need to drop off per person. But like, yeah, dude, it was stressful. It was like you feel like shit. Like what can you do in that instance? And the city won't help. The city was of zero help. They're not going to do anything. It's not, even though it's on their line, since it's right on the other side of the meter, it's not their problem. They're not going to do shit. Doesn't matter. You could beg, you could plead. They don't care. They're just like, and I was thinking, man, if I had my well, this wouldn't be a freaking problem. But they made me disconnect all the well, because that was the other thing I was thinking, is maybe I could just have someone like reconnect me to my well real quick and like use a bypass or something. But the city or the state, the health department, makes sure you have basically have everything is disconnected, cut, shut down, because they don't
Oh,
want you
damn.
to do that because of the health. They want you to basically dismantle your well. So that was not an option. So that's where I was on most of last week in dealing with all of that.
How soon before there's humanoid plumbers that just stay on site and can fix everything like that?
I don't
in
know,
a
man.
second?
I think that'd be hard. I mean, I'm sure eventually, when robots can move and articulate their muscles and everything the way humans can, and can do that, yeah, maybe at that point. But I mean, I think we're ways away from that. But yeah, I mean, that'd have been cool, like just some robots digging the effing holes and solving the problem and, doing it. He hasn't even sent me the bill, but I know this is going to be a couple grand, because one of the parts he used, he was like, hey man, just to let you know, this one part was like $550, just
Good
because,
God.
again, so what you don't get is, like, I am coming out, like, it cost me a shit ton of money for the parts to begin with, but you're talking 4-inch, like, this is 4-inch commercial pipe coming out of like a
Oh, wow.
6-inch main. So like we have, like, and then you have your backflow preventer, all your pressure reducing, and you have all these things that are attached so it doesn't tear up my lines. And like, and he sent me a photo of it. It's like a heavy duty commercial grade. And he was like, this is it.
So that was the elbow? Like, that's what he put at the elbow, so it's not going to do it again, hopefully.
Hopefully, as long as I don't dump all that heavy dirt on it, and if what he
That
put
Georgia clay is
underneath it.
heavy.
Yeah, and bro, it's been raining so much. I mean, I have a giant pit for a septic tank I can't put in. We were putting in a new septic system, and I got permitted for, and a 2,000-gallon concrete tank. And he dug the hole, and that day is when rainy season started, and it started filling the pit in with water. So I have this gigantic fucking cesspool pit of just dirt, like, just collecting rainwater, and my tank is sitting on the grass on the other side of an empty lot, and I can't put a new tank into this home because it'll just. That's how much rain Georgia has been getting, and Arkansas has been the same. I'm delayed on a water install, a new pipe install in Arkansas, because once he digs the trench, he has to lay the pipe, and he can't fill it in until it's inspected. And if it rains and fills up the trench, the pipe will float back up to the top, and then he's got to do it again. So I need to wait. So like everything happened, like I was starting that project when I was starting the septic project in Georgia, and in both areas the rain just literally hit, and we
That's
couldn't get
wild.
it done in time. So now I'm like backstopped on both of these. I got people there complaining about it, and I got people here complaining. It's like,
Never ends.
it never
Seriously.
ends, bro.
That's why you don't build your own AI cold calling software, John.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
why
busy.
he does it.
I'm busy staving off, and I don't think they're emergencies. Like, I tried putting myself in their shoes, and I was like, I get it's my responsibility. I get it, and I'll do my job. That's what I signed up for, and I'm not waiving that. Like, that's fine. I love solving problems, but I'd be damned if it was my family if I would rely on anybody
Yeah.
to take care of me.
Yeah.
And like, that's what was mind-boggling to me. And granted, there are some tenants I never heard from. So I'm not saying every tenant in the community was like this. I guarantee, and I can think of a few of the families and a few of the dudes, guarantee that night some of these motherfuckers were just like getting in their truck and like, I'm going to go get my own water and like F this guy. And never heard from them. Never
Yeah.
complained, never texted in. They probably heard it through the grapevine and was like, whatever. Like, yeah, it sucks, but like, what are we going to do?
Shit
And
happens.
shit happens. And like, so yes, I would say there's definitely a handful of people I never heard from, but I would be one of those handful of people. Like, I never called my landlords complaining about things. You just dealt with what happened and understood you're renting and this is the life and you have little to no control.
Yeah.
That's that, dude. Like,
As long as I know something's happening, like there's times like when the AC was out for like a week and like I was not hearing anything, like any updates, like they had come out and quoted the what a new unit would cost, and then I called the AC company and they're like, yeah, we're waiting to hear back from the owner. Like that I asked about, but if I
Yeah.
know something's happening, I'm like, well, this is it. We're
Yeah.
dealing with this.
Yeah, especially like, and it depends on the type of repair it is, right? Like if you're asking for, you want new locks on your door, right? And like you probably just don't care. You're like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, they're not replacing my doorknobs or whatever. But an AC, like now you're like water. But again, like you just want to see stuff moving in. There's certain categories of repairs is the way I look at it,
Yeah.
right? In like
Yeah.
the big ticket items, people want to know. And so like seeing guys out working, you should never call me. Like you see the guys out working, like you
Yeah.
know, like shit's happening. I don't know what you want me to like to do. I mean, if I I was trying to talk my wife after this into buying an excavator. I was like, now if I had my own excavator, I could
I
have
could have just
driven up.
driven up there and made this thing happen. I would have been there Monday morning.
Response back to that was, well, your truck's not running anyway.
Mm.
It is currently on my driveway taken apart. So
That's pretty funny.
but yeah, so just dealing with that, dude, like that was something. That was a lot going on. So
Definitely
first
sounds like it.
time I dealt with that.
Never a dull moment when you own mobile home parks.
Mhm.
Nah, bro. But it's definitely not passive. I would say that, like, definitely not a passive thing.
Oh no.
Managing rentals and shit.
Yeah. The people who have the best deal are the people that are investing in your deals. That's
Yeah,
the best.
They get the most equity. They get the most equity. They have no liability. They don't get the phone calls. They don't do anything. Begs the question as to like why, you know, why you do it. But it's all about your money position, right? Like
Mhm.
those guys have a shit ton of money. and
Take
they
it
wanna
live.
put- They want to put no. It's I don't know. This dude from North Miami Beach. Is this you calling me? North
Is
Miami
it?
Beach. They've been trying to sell me like PPO healthcare stuff. And
No, you know who that probably is Motivated Sellers.
is that
That'd
who
be
it
glad.
is?
I mean, their office is in Aventura.
No,
I
I
know
don't
that.
know. I'm pretty sure it's the PPO guy. I deleted some voicemails, but there's some. I'm getting. It's always the spam.
If they're doing outbound, just calling real estate investors to buy leads from, that's wild.
Yeah, but property leads are still trying to get me to turn my account back
Good.
I'm too lazy to just go in and like just shut it down totally. They're just like, you need to update your card. Are you done buying leads? I just want to know, like, what can I do to help you? Like,
You're in that automated follow-up.
I know, I am in the automated follow-up of it, but it's like, I get it, bro. I get it.
All right, let's end this up with a funny AI post.
Yeah, what do we got?
Oh my god,
That is. I felt like, yeah, that happens all the time, dude.
I catch ChatGPT being wrong. Not all the time. I would say it's maybe like 10% of the time it's wrong. And that's always like the response. Dude, you're absolutely correct. My apologies.
Your hawk-eyed brilliant saved us all.
Yeah, I love when it jazzes me up when it tells me, like, as it's admitting it's wrong, and I'm like, I was under my truck yesterday and I took a picture of my one tool and I was like, this is what I have. I was like, this is the issue I have. And it told me what my tool was. And it was completely wrong. I'm like, this is not. It's like, what you have there is a 1/2-inch impact driver, which is meant to do blah, 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 blah. What you need is the Milwaukee impact wrench. And I'm like, I'm almost positive, like, this is an impact wrench, dude. Like, and it goes, I forget what it said. It goes, you are correct in that instance. I'm glad you were able to catch that. And in that instance, like, and I'm like, thanks, bro. You wasted my effing time. I literally sent it a photo of it too, like, of the tool. And
That's
it's
funny.
like, and it does it to me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to be able to check your AI stuff, like, because you can't, like, I saw somebody giving it a prompt and I wanted to try it where it was prompting it to argue, like, to not just accept what I say or what I ask, is like to say, not to accept what I say as the truth or as correct and to just agree with me, but to counter me with a different opinion and whatever, play devil's advocate. And not just to, when I ask something, not just to tell me what I want to hear, but to take a stance of a different viewpoint so I can make sure I understand all sides. And it had it in a much more succinct kind of prompt paragraph. And I meant to save it and I wanted to like copy that and put it in, because I do find ChatGPT tends to just tell me what I want to hear a lot of times. And it's like, I get it, and you can tell me that I'm brilliant and I'm awesome, and that does help my confidence. So thank you. But
Hey, it's a good ego boost.
yeah, but at the same time, dude, like I need to know if this is actually correct.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
did the same thing when I was adding, what was it? I was fixing something in my car, or my friend was helping me fix something in the car, and I straight up asked it, make and model, where is like the thing to attach like a Freon, attach like a Freon thing to it,
Yeah.
and it gave the completely wrong side. I had to go back to caveman years and look it up on YouTube specifically, and right in the first 10 seconds of the video, I was like, oh, it's complete opposite side. So
It
there's a
can
lot
be
of times gonna be wrong.
frustrating. It can be frustrating when it does that. Like with my truck, it does that a lot too. I'll have to send it photos in the engine bay and different stuff. And I mean, it's got its pluses and minuses, but it messes stuff up. But I think a lot of that is it's doing a lot, and we're not giving it a lot of information, or it's
Mhm.
trying to figure a lot of stuff out. Oh, you know what I was going to tell you too, John? I told Carlos, going back to mobile home parks. This is the other thing is I bought one of my so I got a message from my manager that somebody was trying to sell their home, and by law, or not by law, but by contract, they need to give me the right to buy it. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude, like I gotta deal with this. Like this is like Friday night at like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, great. He's like, but don't tell them that I said this. So I get on Facebook Marketplace and I go to that area, and there it is, and she's selling it for $2,000. And I'm like, because at first, like I just bought one for like 8 G's, and I bought another one for 7 in a different park, and they were all decent shape. I'm like, $2,000. So I message her as my pseudonym. I have a fake Facebook account. So I'm messaging, and I'm like, do you have the title? She does not have the title. I'm like, awesome. No way she's selling this to anybody else then. Because like you can't, there's not a lot of movers that are going to move a home out of your park if you don't have a title, because like the movers are taking a huge risk that you even own this thing. So you might find a shady one that'll do it, but a reputable mover is not going to move that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so like I'm asking her all these questions, and I offer her like $1,100. And she's like, all right, first come, first serve. Like I have somebody coming by today at 11 to buy it. If you can come with $1,100 for it. I'm like, well, I'm not coming. I was like, that's fine. Good luck to you. Anyway, so I call her, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so, this is Brandon, the manager of the park. Hey, my office just notified me that we got alerted on Facebook, because we set up like searches to be alerted. And it looks like a mobile home in that area just popped up that belongs to you, and that you're selling it. Is that true? And she's like, yes, I am. And she goes through this whole sob story about husband losing job, had to get a job at another city, and all this stuff. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. I need to sell it. And so I go, I'll buy it from you. Oh my goodness, that would be such a lifesaver. So here I am thinking she's maliciously trying to sell it out from underneath me. What I find is she just had no idea that I would buy it, even though she signed a document. Like we have this own document that says we have right of first refusal. If you want to buy it, you could sell your home, but we have to have the right to make a bid on it first. Yeah. Apparently didn't remember that. So I offer her the $1,100. I think I said $1,100. So she was like, yes. And she goes through all the things wrong. It's a POS, but like for $1,100, John, I'm buying a 3-bed, 2-bath for $1,100.
That's wild.
Right. And what I forgot to say is that next morning, right, like midday before I called her, she dropped it from $2,000 to $1,500 after the 11 o'clock person, I'm assuming, or whatever. So I was like 15. So I offered her 11 again, and she said yes. And then she tells me like, well, and I was like, well, where are you moving? And she says, Hot Springs. And no, I did not tell her that I own a park in Hot Springs. I was not getting into that. Then she tells me she needs $1,300 for the deposit for their new rental or whatever. So I was like, listen, I'll just give you $1,300. That's fine. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Moral of the story is Tommy, my manager, went down, took photos of it. Nothing worse than I've ever fixed. It's not bad. It's a POS. It needs everything, floors, paint, all that. But here's the deal, money-wise. I'm buying this for $1,300. Like, we signed the bill of sale. I wired her the money yesterday. She was worried I was scamming her, or Monday I did it, and it took all day to get there. So I was getting like panicked. Like, oh my God, I signed and notarized this and the money's not there. And so she finally got the money by the end of the day. And I had to send it to her Cash App because certain demographics of people I have found don't own bank accounts. They all use Cash App. So I was a little nervous wiring or ACHing money into a Cash App account. I never did that before, but it went through. She got her $1,300. She did that. I will probably, based on the photos and some of the quotes, I have 2 other homes in that same community with my handyman from Little Rock coming down. I'll probably be all in. And that's if I put a new AC, which I think I'll have Joel put a new AC in for me. And that'll be like $5-6 grand. I'll probably be all into this motherfucker, saying brand new. Like I'm saying, I'm doing subfloors. I'll probably do cabinet if I wanted to do the cabinets. Like I can have this whole thing with purchase price under 20 grand, laminate floorings, all new
How much can you rent
fixtures,
it for?
new toilets. I'll probably rent this thing out for like $800 a month.
So you'll make your money back in
like a year and a half.
25 months.
2 years. Well played.
Can't do that in single family.
So, but not like, but what people don't understand is not that I'll just make my money back on the rehab. Like a lot of people are like, how much money am I investing? Because a lot of people don't count their mortgage on their single family home, right? They're thinking about cash outlay. When do I get my money on my deposit? I'm literally not just talking cash outlay. I'm talking the entire home.
Yeah.
From purchase to rehab, the whole thing in 2 years, it pays for itself.
Wild.
Where can you get that type of return or even have the option to do that? And I thought that was an interesting thing to talk about just briefly, was just to say, like, there's many ways, which is why I got into parks, is like, not only do you make it on the rent, but you can, in some of these situations, buy these homes. And like in the one that
we had that, wasn't that a couple of weeks ago? We went to
where we talked about the $7 grand, right? And I bought one for $7 grand, and that one I'll only put about $7 or $8 grand in.
Yeah.
So I'll be all in for like 15, 16. But like, I guess where I was really stressing is like how bad this thing is, like piece of shit status this is.
But you'll still make your money back.
But I'll still make my money where on a single family,
any other asset.
There's no way on a single family, if you had to redo your subfloors, all your drywall, all, you know what I mean? Like on a 3-2. Yeah. Like there's no way. It's just the demographic of people we use to do the rehabs, the materials we use to put in there. Like everything in these homes is so cheap that it's like, or not cheap, but lower priced. It's just, I just thought it was funny. I was just like, I can't believe I just bought this fucking home for 30. You hear stories like when I buy homes for parks from people, the old heads are like, yeah, I bought that one for like $2 grand and like that one for $3 grand. And I'm like, well, that's never going to happen again. Like, how does that even? And you see gurus talking about it like, oh, you can go buy these things for pennies. And $7 grand I thought was pretty cheap, but like 1,300.
Steal of a deal.
And she was so worried. She's like, well, Brandon, this is wrong. This is wrong. I'm like, I just wanted to say, and I didn't say it, but I was just like, for $1,300, as long as you don't fucking burn this thing down, like, I'm good, bro.
That's awesome.
But anyway, so I may not have a title to it, but it ain't ever leaving the park anyway. Got a notarized bill of sale. So it'll be good. Thing ain't going anywhere. It's got no tags, no nothing. Couldn't find any identifying anything on it. So ain't no one ever coming for this fucking thing. But she bought it from a Mexican that lived there before. And he didn't have, obviously, any type of papers on it. So who knows the origin of this home?
Lost to mystery.
So
that's pretty cool.
That was it, dude. I just wanted to talk about that. So people think about getting into mobile homes in and of themselves, buying homes like this, fixing them up. There's plenty of them on Facebook Marketplace that people just, neglect, and the rehabs are easier. The profits are still there. I mean, you could go and you could fix this whole thing up and sell this thing for 40 grand to somebody on seller finance, get a down payment to recoup your money, and then finance that thing. And that's what Alex Ottawell used to do. Your boy over there, like that's how he was, quote unquote, the king of trailers, is that's what he used to do back in the early days when mobile homes in Florida were also like $5 grand.
Crazy.
Fun stuff. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your week.
Yeah. It's lock and load.
We'll have to start thinking about our new reoccurring AI news segment.
Yeah, we gotta start talking
It's
about
there.
some AI callers.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It's
I'm
there.
down.
Let's get an AI. Let's get a fourth AI co-host
That'd
that
be
just
pretty
chimes in with positive affirmations and tell us how awesome we are.
I know. I need AI to just like, I'm sure they have it, but just like every day when it wakes me up, just like whatever
You
I
easily
need
could
that
act
day.
as a hype man.
Yeah. Just like hype me up type thing. Like, yeah, that'd be good. All right,
All right,
guys.
guys. See
Love
you
you.
around.